David here with Fig Boot on Pens. This past weekend, the Triangle Pen Show was held in Cary, North Carolina. And that I thought I'd make a little video kind of recapping some of the things that went on at the show. And so that if you've never had a chance to attend a show, that it gives you the idea of the types of things that go on. The region is actually called the Triangle in reference to the proximity of the three large universities in the area, NC State, and which is in Raleigh, and then Duke, which is in Durham, and then the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, which is in Chapel Hill. And the show was a 4-day show, and that I thought it would be interesting to talk about it. And like I said, some of the things that go on in a medium-sized show, and then also show some of the things that I picked up. So the show was held at the Embassy Suites Hotel in Cary, where it's been for the last 13 years. The show had around 70 tables and had actually outgrown the room, so that there was several vendors outside in the hallway. There was Fountain Pen Day, then there was Modern Chocolatier with some really nice chocolates, and then also Ryan Krusak, who has some very nice wood pens as well as some incredible hand-painted pens. I actually showed one of his pens in my Classic Pens LR8 review, but Ryan had partnered with Classic Pens to produce this Dignity pen with a limited edition of 10, and I believe that 5 or 6 have already been sold. So if that's something you're interested in, then by all means contact Classic Pens. Here's the main room. While there are plenty of new pens for sale, there was also a great deal of vintage pens. That this show seemed to have a distinct vintage feel about it. One of the great things about shows is it gives you a chance to get a closer look at things that you're interested in. In this day of internet shopping, it's tough sometimes to get a feeling for the size and weight and quality of pens without actually putting it in your hand. For example, my last name is Parker. I've tried really hard to find a pen from my namesake company that I really love, but have been relatively unsuccessful. I own a few Parkers, I have this Vacuumatic in my collection. This one I believe is from 1939, which I like, but I wish it was about twice the size. And I was able to try out a bunch of other Vacuumatics and pretty much came to the conclusion that there wasn't a huge difference between what I currently owned and some of the larger sizes that were out there. Going to a show like this gives you the opportunity to try out pens. You might end up buying something that surprises you, or it will help you not waste money on something that you would have been disappointed with. For example, I really think the filling system of the Schaefer snorkel is very cool, and I thought it would be really nice to own one. But after seeing how thin the pen actually is, it's something I'd like to check out for a review, but not something I would ever really use. It's just not my style. Same with the Parker 51s. There's nothing wrong with the pen other than that it just really doesn't match with my personal taste. It doesn't match well with my personal tastes. It's also a great time to catch up with friends and acquaintances and make new friends as well. It's nice to meet the faces behind some of the businesses that you support on a regular basis. And then early Saturday afternoon, the power went out in the entire hotel and stayed out for over 2 hours. We were fortunate we were in a room with windows. So other than getting a bit warm and stuffy because there was no air conditioning, everyone plowed through until the power was restored. On Sunday, there was actually a very large auction where a number of vintage pens were up for grabs. And while I wasn't there for the auction, I heard a number of folks boasting afterward about the great bargains that they received. So, what did I pick up at the show? Just a few things. I didn't go too overboard, but some supplies and some ink and a couple of pens. And so let's go over here and I will show you my haul. First of all, I picked up some paper. I know it barely fits here on the screen, but I use these number 18 Rhodia pads a lot. I actually use these every day at work. They kind of, for my to-do lists at work, and then I actually kind of write my reviews on these Rhodia pads as well. So I use these quite a great deal so that you can never have enough of those in stock. Then second of all, I picked up some Tomoe River paper, some loose sheets. When I do my ink reviews coming up, I wanted to have a few different types of paper, so I wanted to have some loose, clear paper that was white, and thought that it would be nice to have some of this Tomoe River paper, which is excellent. Then I also picked up a few of these. These are number 16 notepads, which I like a lot. I use these actually at home for kind of my daily to-do lists, and so my to-do lists go on these pads, and so I use these on a regular basis. So just stocking up on a few things of paper. So I also went to the Franklin-Christoph booth. That they had a real nice booth there with a number of different things in regard to pens and other merchandise, and I picked up this 3-pen case. And I'll probably do a quick little review on this later on, but I really like this case. It's very soft on the sides, but then it's firm on the tops and bottoms. And it fits 3 pens in here comfortably. Even some of the largest Franklin-Christoph pens fit in here nicely. So that I don't have a lot of pen cases, and I like this one because it can fit in a jacket pocket very comfortably, and or in your jeans or something like that, and it doesn't feel too obtrusive. So I enjoy that. Then next we have some ink. So to begin with, I picked up some Franklin-Christoph Spanish Blue, and the Spanish Blue looks like this, and that it's kind of a nice lighter blue. It has a little bit of sheen to it, but it's a blue that I like. Then next, I'm a sucker for cool packaging when it comes to ink. And Anderson Pens had a brand new Australian brand available that's called Bookbinders. And it comes in this little pouch here. And that what first drew me to this Bookbinder Sneak Ink is the cool packaging, and that it kind of comes in this awesome little pouch, like I said, and that it I like the packaging and the label. It looks like those old-time cure-all remedies. And it says Bookbinder Snake Ink, Blue Coral, and then Cures Writer's Block. Now, okay, I think that should be an apostrophe S. Now, this is an Australian brand that's exclusive through Anderson Pens, so I don't know if that is an Australian thing or that is a typo on their label, but it, at least in the US, it should have an apostrophe, either before or after the S, I believe. But inside, we have this ink here. And I just really like this bottle, very cool looking bottle. And what that ink looks like is, it looks like this. And so it's a nice lighter blue as well. Not too deep, but another blue that I care for. So then we have some other ink. I picked up some Iroshizuku Ama Iro. And that I like the boxes on these, but then what I like better than the boxes is the actual bottle itself. The bottle is one of my favorite bottles. I just love the looks of it, nice and thick, and I think the indentation here at the bottom adds a real nice look to it. And this is what this ink looks like. Again, it actually has some very nice sheen to it. I'll go over these inks in reviews later on, but just an idea of what that one looks like. But some Iroshizuku ink. Then I had some Mont Blanc ink, some royal blue Mont Blanc ink. And let me actually get this open. I thought I had opened this previously. It kind of sealed on me. But this is what these boxes look like, and inside is the ink. And this is actually another one of my favorite bottles, mainly because the cap is very cool, very solid, very nice plastic, but then also it's really easy to fill a pen with these Mont Blanc bottles, to where you can get any excess ink in the kind of reservoir side over here, and it's very easy to use. And this is what this royal blue looks like. It's kind of a nice, deeper, almost purplish blue, but still very nice. And I like the packaging on that one. And then finally, the last ink I got is probably, other than the Iroshizuku, my second favorite packaging is some Ackerman. And this is Ackerman number 1, which is Passage Blau, which is Passage Blue. And this is what this ink bottle looks like. And this is probably my favorite ink bottle when it comes to actually utilitarian design. If you're not familiar with them, there is an actual marble that's up here in the midsection here. So you turn it over, the ink flows down into this section, and when you turn it here, then it's captured, and there's plenty of ink in there for you to use. So it's a really good way for you to always be able to get plenty of ink. And then even if you have pens with larger nibs, that they fit, you could fit in here and fill them with no problem whatsoever. So once I got home, I realized something about my inks, is that I purchased a bunch of blue inks. So, not that there's wrong with blue inks, but I think that in hindsight I could have mixed it up just a little bit. I do like each of these, but I thought it was funny when I got home and realized that I had just bought a bunch of blue inks. So, okay, next we have a couple of pens. First of all, I got myself a Lamy Joy. This is a Lamy pen that has an interesting look about it, and this is kind of mainly for calligraphy, and this has a 1.5 nib on it, which is kind of a typical Lamy 1.5 nib. So later on I'll review this obviously, but I don't think that there's probably much difference between this and then using this same 1.5 nib on a Safari or an All-Star or any of their other pens. But it does have kind of a nice, cool, elongated look to it that is kind of more appropriate for calligraphy. But that's the Lamy Joy. Then next, actually something that I picked up at Anderson, and this is actually a ballpoint that I picked up for my dad for Christmas, so no one tell him, please. But what happened is my dad actually works at a museum. He's retired, but he spends his spare time working at a museum, and they actually build airplanes. So when you go to a museum and you see an airplane hanging there, a lot of times that was actually built, especially for museums. And so that's what my dad does, is he hangs out with a bunch of guys and builds airplanes all day long. And that I thought that this tiger shark would be a very cool plane, or very cool gift for him. He's not into fountain pens, but this is a ballpoint that I'm sure he'll actually get some use out of because he enjoys the vintage planes and, like I said, actually builds them and builds replicas. The ones they build aren't meant for flying. They're just meant to be replicas. Then another pen, I had mentioned before I visited Franklin-Christoph, and that I own one of their pens, the model 66, and absolutely love it. Their pens come in these pouches, which are really nice. And I decided to pick up a number 2 intrinsic. And right now it's filled with the Spanish blue. This is clear, and this is in their ice, which you can kind of see has an ice finish to it, which is a really neat finish. And inside I got a Christoph nib, which is basically their music nib, and I got it black because I thought the black would look nice with the cap here. So again, later on I'll review this, but this is my first music nib from them, and I need to practice my better handwriting, or at least some things that could really show off this nib well, because this is a very nice nib, and especially when I do the review, I want to be able to show it off. But so far I like my my number 2 intrinsic very much. Okay, I have one more pen that I purchased, and that you saw in the pictures that some of the pictures had Andy Lambro from Classic Pens, and I picked up one more classic pen. And this one is not an LB5 or not an LR8, but as a finish I really liked. This is called the LM1. Now, if I was ever to get another LB5, it would be in this flame red. I just really, really like this flame red color, and I think it shows off the diffusion bonded acrylics really well. But unfortunately, there are no more reds left. The reds have all been sold, so while there might be ones that come up on the aftermarket, there's no brand new reds. And so I purchased this LM1. It was about half the cost of an LB5, but it still has the material and really shows it off well. And in the grand scheme of things, I think I appreciate it. I think I'll like buying this pen more, and so I have something that's a little bit different as opposed to a third version of the very same pen. So this is again called the LM1, and this is a limited edition of 500, and that so far I've only had it for a couple of days, but so far really enjoy it, and obviously be doing a review of it down the line. So there we have it, just a recap of the Triangle Pen Show. Just want to kind of show some of the things that I picked up, as well as some of the things that go on at a pen show, and hope that if you haven't been able to attend one, that you'll be able to attend one soon. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.